One of the most common things I hear from men over 60 sounds something like this. Doc, I've been doing the same things I've always done, but lately my body just doesn't feel the same. There's a tone of quiet worry in their voice, a mix of confusion and embarrassment. And often what they're really trying to ask, but can't quite bring themselves to say, is this: is what I'm doing in private harming me now that I'm older? Let me tell you about a man named Harold. He's 68, retired, a grandfather of 4, and by all accounts, a healthy man. He came into my office one morning, leaned in close, and whispered, "Dr. Easton, I've got to ask you something personal. Is it bad that I still masturbate most days?" He chuckled, nervously, expecting me to scold him or laugh. Instead, I smiled and said, "Harold, that's a question every man should feel comfortable asking, especially after 60. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older men protect their prostate, maintain strong circulation, and age with confidence. And in today's video, shocking, what daily masturbation does to your prostate, you won't believe it, I want to walk you through what really happens inside your body when self-pleasure becomes a daily habit, especially after you cross that milestone of 60. Now, this isn't about shame or judgment. This is about truth and how understanding what's happening in your prostate can help you take control of your health. You see, the prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut, sitting just below the bladder. Its main job is to produce the fluid that nourishes and protects sperm. But as men age, the prostate often becomes sensitive, and in many it starts to enlarge, a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. Here's the tricky part. While some degree of sexual activity, including masturbation, can be healthy, helping clear out old fluids and maintain circulation, doing it every single day may not be as harmless as you think. When the prostate is already inflamed or enlarged, daily stimulation can sometimes increase local irritation. Think of it like rubbing a sore muscle before it's had time to heal. That repeated pressure and hormonal surge can make inflammation worse, leading to symptoms like frequent urination at night, a weak stream, or even pelvic discomfort. When Harold and I talked about this, I asked him to describe how he felt afterward. He admitted that while it used to leave him relaxed, lately it made him feel drained and achy the next day. That was our clue. His prostate was no longer bouncing back like it used to. After 60, recovery slows, blood flow changes, and hormone levels shift. The body's tolerance for certain habits isn't what it once was. Now, that doesn't mean men should suppress their natural urges or feel guilty about them. Quite the opposite. It means understanding your body's new rhythm, learning when to rest it, when to listen, and how to support it. And that's exactly what Harold did. Once he made a few changes, we'll get to those later, not only did his symptoms ease, but he said he felt more energetic, less foggy, and more emotionally balanced. Now, if you're still watching, I want you to know this video isn't here to scare you. It's to help you take ownership of your health as a man in his 60s or 70s. There's so much misinformation online, especially about topics like this. Some say daily release clears the pipes, others warn it's dangerous. The truth lies in between, and it depends on your prostate's condition, your hormone levels, and your overall health. So, let me ask you, have you ever noticed changes in how your body feels after you climax? Maybe more fatigue, soreness, or frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom? If this resonates, go ahead and comment yes below. And if not, type no. I personally read those comments because your feedback helps me understand what topics matter most to men like you. And if you find this conversation valuable, if it feels like something men should have been told years ago, please tap that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's how you help this community grow and reach more men who need honest, down-to-earth advice about aging well. Back to Harold. His story's far from over. In fact, what we discovered next completely changed how he viewed his body and his habits. Because what daily stimulation does to your prostate isn't just physical, it's deeply hormonal, and it affects everything from your mood to your sleep. And once you understand why that happens, it becomes clear how to protect yourself without giving up your natural desires. That's where Harold's journey really began and where the truth about your prostate health starts to make sense. When Harold came back for his follow-up a few weeks later, he looked different. He sat up straighter, his face had more color, and there was a calmness in the way he spoke. But before we dive into what changed, I want to explain why daily stimulation can have such a strong effect on the prostate and the rest of your body once you're past 60. You see, every time a man ejaculates, the prostate contracts to release fluid. In your younger years, that contraction is quick, and the recovery is almost instant. But after 60, the tissues become more sensitive. The muscles tighten more slowly, and the circulation that keeps the gland healthy can weaken. When this cycle happens every day without enough recovery time, the prostate can start to feel congested, almost like a sponge that never quite dries out. That congestion isn't just physical. It also stirs up inflammation. The prostate has thousands of tiny ducts, and when it's repeatedly forced to contract under low hormone conditions, which is common as testosterone naturally declines with age, those ducts can swell, leading to a sense of pressure, dull ache, or even discomfort during urination. When Harold and I talked about this, I never surprised. He said, "Doc, it's like I feel full down there, not in a good way." That phrase stuck with me. It was the perfect description of what so many older men experience, but rarely talk about. What's fascinating is that this fullness isn't just physical. It's linked to your nervous system too. The same signals that control arousal also influence your prostate's ability to relax afterward. So if your body is already under stress, from poor sleep, low exercise, or even emotional strain, that relaxation doesn't happen properly, and the cycle of irritation continues. This is why balance is key. In moderation, self-pleasure can support prostate health by clearing out old fluids and boosting circulation. But when it becomes daily, especially out of habit rather than desire, it can have the opposite effect, triggering hormonal imbalances. You may not notice it immediately, but over time it can lead to fatigue, irritability, and even a dip in natural testosterone production. When Harold realized this, his face changed. He said, "You mean it's not about stopping completely? It's about listening to my body?" And I told him, "Exactly. At this stage of life, your body whispers before it shouts. The key is learning how to hear those whispers. And that's something I want you to take to heart too. If you've been feeling more drained, if your drive isn't what it used to be, or if your bathroom habits have changed, these could all be signs your prostate is asking for a break. Giving that rest isn't weakness, it's wisdom." I encouraged Harold to take 2 weeks off, no stimulation at all, and to focus on what we call restorative habits. Simple things: walking 30 minutes a day, staying hydrated, cutting back on caffeine, and making sure he was getting enough zinc and magnesium in his diet. He joked that it sounded like a vacation for his body. But within 10 days, he started noticing changes. Fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom, deeper sleep, and more morning energy. And that's the part that surprised him the most. "Doc," he said, "I thought I'd feel more tense or frustrated, but I actually feel calmer." That calmness comes from resetting your dopamine and testosterone balance, two hormones deeply tied to pleasure, motivation, and energy. Daily climaxing can desensitize those signals, making you crave more but feel less satisfied. When you give your system a break, it resets, allowing your body to respond more naturally again. If any of this sounds familiar, I'd love to know. Have you ever tried giving your body a short rest and noticed a difference in your energy or mood? Type yes in the comments if you have, or no if it's something new to you.
I personally read through your comments because understanding your experiences helps me shape these discussions in a way that truly supports men in this community. And if you haven't already, take a second to like this video, hit subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you'll be notified when I share more stories like Harold's. Real experiences from real men who are learning how to protect their vitality and prostate health as they age. Harold's story didn't stop there. After that short break, something remarkable happened. Not only did his symptoms improve, but his confidence returned. His energy during the day felt sharper, his mood steadier, and the next time he chose to be intimate with himself, he said it felt different, stronger, more fulfilling, more controlled. And that's when I knew he'd turned a corner. But there was still one more lesson Harold had to learn, something that changed the way he viewed not just his prostate, but his overall sense of masculinity and health.
When Harold came in for his third visit, he carried himself with a confidence I hadn't seen in years. His handshake was firm, his shoulders relaxed, and he smiled before I even asked how he was doing. "Doc," he said, "I think I finally get what you were talking about. My body feels lighter." That single word, lighter, captured something powerful. It wasn't just about his prostate anymore, it was about balance returning to his whole system. You see, what Harold experienced is what I call a reset cycle. After years of routine daily stimulation, his prostate and hormones had been locked in a constant state of mild overactivity. By taking time to rest, he allowed his internal systems to recalibrate, something that's incredibly important for men past 60. The body may slow down with age, but it never stops responding to how you treat it. Here's something most men don't realize. The prostate isn't just a gland. It's part of a delicate network controlled by your nervous and endocrine systems. When you masturbate, especially daily, your brain releases bursts of dopamine, the pleasure chemical, followed by prolactin, a hormone that tells your body to rest. In younger men, these spikes balance quickly, but in older men, the recovery takes longer, and the repeated highs and lows can create a cycle of fatigue, brain fog, and lowered libido. Harold had fallen into that trap without knowing it. He said, "I thought I was keeping myself healthy, keeping things moving." And he wasn't wrong. Occasional ejaculation can indeed help flush the prostate and support function. But frequency is everything. Too often, and you never give your body the time it needs to rebuild testosterone and reduce inflammation. Too little, and stagnation can occur. The key is rhythm, understanding the pace your body now prefers. For most men over 60, that means spacing things out, giving your body a few days to recover, letting your energy and desire rebuild naturally. When Harold found that rhythm, he told me something remarkable. "I don't just feel better physically, I feel clearer up here," he said, pointing to his head. That's because hormone balance affects more than your prostate. It shapes your mood, your confidence, and even how well you sleep. We also worked on a few natural habits to support his prostate's recovery. He started including pomegranate juice for its anti-inflammatory antioxidants, added pumpkin seeds for zinc, and made sure to stay hydrated throughout the day. Just those small changes amplified his results. Within a month, his prostate discomfort nearly disappeared and his bladder control improved. But what truly changed was how he related to his body, not as something to fix, but something to care for. I often tell men, your body isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. Every ache, every new sensation after 60 is a message. Daily masturbation might feel like a release, but if it leaves you feeling empty, sore, or fatigued afterward, your body is telling you it's time to slow down and reset. When you honor that message, everything, your energy, sleep, mood, and even your desire, begins to align again. That's why this conversation matters. So many men suffer in silence because topics like this are rarely discussed openly, especially among older adults. But the truth is, these changes are normal. They're part of the body's evolution. Understanding them doesn't take away your masculinity, it helps you preserve it. I want to take a quick moment here to invite you to be part of this conversation. If this message feels like something men your age need to hear more about,
Please tap the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you've ever noticed these same changes in yourself, fatigue, pelvic tension, or a dip in drive, type yes in the comments. If not, type no. I personally review your comments because they help me see where men are struggling and how I can share advice that truly makes a difference. Harold's wife, Susan, noticed the difference before he even told her what he was doing. She said he seemed more patient, more affectionate, more present. That's something I see often when men regain hormonal balance. It affects not just their body, but their relationships and sense of well-being. The same man who once felt drained and embarrassed was now waking up with more energy, enjoying his walks again, and even playing with his grandkids without that dull ache in his back and pelvis. When we spoke about it, Harold said, "It's funny, Doc. I thought this was about my prostate. Turns out it was got my whole life." That's exactly right, because your prostate health is a reflection of how balanced your overall system is. When it's inflamed, your body is inflamed. When it's calm, your mind and emotions follow suit. But Harold's transformation had one final step, one last discovery that truly shocked him and might shock you too. Because what we uncovered next revealed the most unexpected connection between daily stimulation, prostate aging, and long-term vitality. It's something I wish every man over 60 knew before he reached Harold's stage, and it completely changed how he approached his health from that day forward. When Harold came in for his final checkup 3 months later, he looked like a new man. His skin had more color, his eyes were brighter, and he moved with ease. He sat down and said, "Dr. Easton, I feel like I've turned back the clock 10 years. I smiled because what he was experiencing wasn't magic. It was his body finally finding balance. We ran a few tests that day and the results confirmed what he already felt. His prostate size had reduced slightly, inflammation markers were down, and his testosterone levels had naturally improved. But there was something even more fascinating behind these changes. When we looked at Harold's hormone profile, it revealed that his body had finally stabilized. His dopamine, prolactin, and cortisol levels were all back within healthy ranges. Now this is where it gets interesting, and it's the part most men never hear about. When you climax, your body releases dopamine, which gives that feeling of pleasure and satisfaction. But right afterward, it also releases prolactin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy and content. When this happens occasionally, it's healthy. It resets the body. But when it happens every day, especially in older men whose hormone regulation has slowed down, prolactin levels can stay elevated for too long. High prolactin suppresses testosterone, the hormone that keeps your energy, mood, and prostate function strong. Over time, this can lead to fatigue, weight gain around the belly, weaker erections, and yes, more prostate irritation. That's why Harold's daily habit had left him feeling constantly tired and heavy. His body was stuck in a low testosterone, high prolactin loop. Once he gave it a break and restored balance, his natural testosterone began to rebound and his prostate finally got the rest it needed. What Harold discovered, and what I want you to take away, is that moderation truly is medicine. The goal isn't to eliminate pleasure or feel guilty about it. It's to understand that your body's needs evolve with age. Where once daily release might have helped relieve tension, now it may be draining your reserves. Learning to pace yourself, to listen to your body's signals, is what keeps your prostate and your masculinity thriving. He told me something that really stayed with me. "Doc, I used to think slowing down meant getting old. Now I realize slowing down is what's keeping me young." And he was right. When he found his natural rhythm, 2 or 3 times a week instead of every day, he didn't lose vitality, he gained it. His energy returned, his mood lifted, and his confidence came back stronger than ever. That's what I want for every man watching this right now. To understand that your prostate isn't something to be ashamed of, ignored, or overworked. It's an incredible little organ that's been serving you faithfully for decades, and it deserves care, patience, and attention. Protecting it isn't about giving something up. It's about choosing long-term strength over short-term relief. Now, I know this topic can be uncomfortable, but these are the conversations that matter most as we age.
Too many men suffer silently with issues that could be improved just by understanding how their body changes after 60. And if Harold's story teaches us anything, it's that it's never too late to reset, restore, and rediscover your vitality. So let me ask you, have you ever felt that same kind of tiredness or prostate pressure Harold described? If you have, type yes in the comments. If not, type no. I personally go through your responses because they help me see where men are struggling and how I can share advice that truly makes a difference. And if you found this story valuable, please like this video, subscribe, and tap that bell icon so you'll be notified when I release new videos each week. Every thumbs up, every comment, every subscription helps this community of men over 60 grow stronger together, one conversation at a time. Before Harold left that day, he paused at the door and said, "Doc, I wish I had known this 10 years ago." I told him, "What matters is that you know it now, and you're listening to your body. That's the heart of all good health, awareness. When you understand your body's rhythm, you no longer fear change. You work with it, not against it." So to every man watching this right now, I want to leave you with this thought. Take care of your prostate like you would a trusted old engine. Don't run it hard every day. Keep it clean, rested, and well-fueled, and it will serve you for years to come. Aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean mastery if you're willing to learn. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and I want to thank you for joining me today. Stay curious, stay kind to your body, and never stop investing in your health. Because the best years, the strong, confident, healthy years, can still be ahead of you. Take care, gentlemen, and I'll see you in the next video.